Okay. All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody. So welcome to the live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and we do this webinar every set book Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. Tomorrow we'll have Jay Trader. He will be trading live, and then Thursday we have for stocks, and then Thursday we have Scott Pulcini, futures trader, at 10 a.m. trading live. Following this webinar, we have Tom B at 11:30 East Coast time. So we have quite a nice lineup. We also have a new crypto trader in the morning at 8:30, Rain, and he'll go through the crypto markets for about an hour. So really building out our education here. It's all free. It's all regarding order flow and within Bookmap. So let's jump in, go through the risk disclosures quickly here, and then look at the market. All Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in and take a look here. Yeah, so selling off, and you can see the pre-market here, and then 9:30 cash open right here, and really kind of jumbled back and forth, a lot of trading, and then we just sold off into 41.20 here. This is a pretty important level we've been looking at for quite a while, this 41.20, and you can see that there's liquidity there. So there's other traders that think it's still think it's a very important level as well, and they got filled here too. This is important for us to notice here, that traders are here getting filled with high liquidity in the order book, and transacting. All right, so this is where the buyers are. They found sellers that sold into them, and transaction was made. What we want to see on events like this is what's the reaction afterwards. Okay, we can see a bounce here, and where's the bounce going toward? Well, liquidity here on the offer to retest the top of the range here. All right, so just a minute here. Okay, yeah, good morning, Bert and others. So the let's see. I also want to cover something here. I just retweeted this here, guys. I forgot to mention it yesterday, but here with Compass FX, they're a Bookmap partner, and they're offering some free education here. They have this trader over there, futures trader. Well, he trades anything basically. He's amazing. It's at 3 p.m. It's free. Go check it out if you want. And he does use Bookmap as well. So I'm trying to align something where we can all go over there and watch Ray trade. Maybe I'll let you know later today in Discord what's going on here, because it's really a treat. All right, so just wanted to mention that. And give a shout out to Compass FX on that. Some really good stuff there. Really, you should check it out. All right, so let's move on. Good morning, Rob. And let's see here. All right, so what are we looking at? All right, so we know that this was the event here at 41.20, and we're just kind of bashing around in here, but we see the buyers come in here. All right, now look at the context here of these buyers coming in compared to the sellers. Okay, it's not that many. I mean, it's nice, it's good, but sellers are still in control. All right, that's what we want to note right now. Clearly in control here on this move down. Look at the heavy selling, clearly in control all the way through here. Okay, we're making lower highs and lower lows. The trend is down. Even here, we see the bounce after the event here. It just came up to the top of the range here, and it didn't break that range either. That's something to note. Okay, so we'd be looking for more sellers to come in and trade down to 18, 17, 16. Maybe we'll get down to the figure here. Where is it? 4100 down here, right? 20 points away. Anyway, it's something to note. And what we do want to see though too is the structure in here, right? So are we making a higher low here? Will we see some volume up here on the buy side? Then we have the potential to break the range here, and we might see a reversal start to unfold. All right, so these are the scenarios that we're going to go through in the order flow when we read it here and start to understand like who's in control and what are the conditions of the orders in here. What are the participants telling us? And then we're going to take that information and look for an edge from it. So as you can see, that second scenario here of buyers, they're trying, right? But again, and they just traded into high liquidity here at 22.5, right? And now we're starting to see sellers come back. Okay, so now what we're looking for then in this scenario here is sellers right now here to try to drive it lower, looking for this offer to kind of lower as well. Then we have a nice combination. Okay, we're looking for the sellers to drive it down into 18. All right, so yeah, anyway, we don't have all the pieces. Yesterday, it was kind of a struggle with the order flow. It wasn't really necessarily a struggle, I would say, but like we didn't have all the pieces on many of the moves. So if we don't have all the pieces, it's just a lot. The orders are telling us that if we don't get that offer to slam down here, and we don't see sellers after that, this is what can happen. We can see buyers come back and retest it back into the range here. All right, so we're looking for something that tells us more here in the order flow. All right, and not really seeing anything at the moment. Okay, the primary scenario though is sellers down here, and then the move down into 18, 17, 16, maybe down to the figure here. We also have some at 14, 10, and then the figure is way down here. Okay, and there's 121 down there. Not a whole lot, but mostly here at 10, 41.10. Yeah, still not really seeing too much here. Selling starting to mount. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture as well. So from yesterday, we have the daily here on the left, hourly in the middle, and then the 15-minute here on the right. So the daily yesterday, this was a pretty strong green candle yesterday when the webinar started. You can see what happened. It did spike up into above the up into these wicks up here, and we did sell off. This was actually what we were looking for last week, and it happened on Monday instead. Today's a down day here, right? But and we filled the gap here. This is when the webinar was started, was right around in here, and the back and forth here was not giving us a really clear picture. The selling came in, and we kind of ended the webinar, I believe, but we're looking for the move lower into the gap fill down in here. Maybe it happened when we were finishing up, but we can see the continuation here, right, to the downside. All right, so where are the buyers? Okay, well, on the hourly or even on the 15-minute, they're down here in this area here. Okay, they're in this area here, 4105, 4110, somewhere around in there. There's also more buyers down here previously. We know that. You can see it, right? So on this hourly, you can see it here on the daily too. So again, 4105 or around the figure down here on the daily. All right. So we're trying to ascertain where we think price might go, and look for the buyers to come back in. right? Or sellers to drive it back down into these lower levels here. We drew up this line here yesterday. We saw a lot of icebergs yesterday. It was pretty incredible. I mean, like it was like 11,000 or so, and that's noteworthy. They were on the buy side too. So I wanted to mark this up and see if we get a retest back up into this area here, and you can see we haven't come close to it. That's quite a ways up there right now. But anyway, I still want to keep this on here and see what happens as the week progresses. All right, so what's happening here in current price? Nothing. We started to see the sellers come in almost into 18 here, and now we're back up to the top of the range here. We should see a stop run here. The buyers should be able to pop it through here. Looking for that scenario, and not looking for much though, but looking for 24, 25, and 26 to trade. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can get our buyers here, and we should see those red lines spike to the upside as well. Okay, so looking for that scenario here. In this case here, yeah, we also want to see the bid here, and you can see it kind of bluish in here. So they are bidding up, but what we're looking for is a really kind of quick move and a stop run. Right? We don't necessarily, for that scenario here, we don't necessarily have to have the bid strengthen here. It's better, but we're just looking for the aggressors here to trigger some stops and then a quick move up in here, and then we'll see what occurs. Okay, we've only got a very small move here so far. Okay, it did break it though, but looking for more than that. Let's see if we can get these buyers back in here again. This is a good, nice little pullback, or bottom of this range here. Buyers to come back in. Now I want to see these guys here at 24 pull. Here we go, and hit the stops. Let's see it. Let's see it, buyers. Look at the bid or the offer really starting to light up. So people want to sell up here. There's 25. Still looking for 26. Almost there. Nothing traded at 26. One tick away. Best offer went into it. All right, let's see the reaction to this liquidity here at 24 3/4. We found some sellers. Okay, and an iceberg. We've got a bit of a stop run, not much though. Let me turn the on chart. Stops and icebergs on chart. Okay, there we go. Any questions? Let's see here. A few in NVIDIA's tanking. Could we take a look? Sure. Yes, Phil, no problem. Let's take a quick look at Amazon as well, and Apple, since we got them. Amazon falling. How about Apple? Apple's not bad. Noel, a stop run. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. What's an explanation of it? So uh, Shrikanth, if the stops and icebergs here is an add-on, it's sold separately. I can show you where it is. Um, if you go to Bookmap Marketplace, okay. Well, here, let me show you from bookmap.com. Click on more, and then you'll see the marketplace here, and add-ons. Right, so we can go there. You'll see all sorts of add-ons in here, and these are third-party vendors for the most part. We're actually a client in here as well, so we developed this MBO bundle here that can show stops and icebergs. It's very specific, and you need to subscribe to it. Good morning, Ricky. The thing here is why did we put it in here instead of like within Bookmap? It's very specific. It's only for futures, CME group instruments, futures, and you need to have rhythmic data. Okay, that's just the only data provider. I guess the IQ Feed is now offering MBO as well. The MBO bundle only works though with rhythmic. All right, so if you're interested in that and you trade those markets, then yeah, check it out. Yeah, I'd recommend giving it a try. The transparency is rather amazing to be able to see this stops and icebergs. NVIDIA, I'm not really seeing a lot. Let me just go back to the stops and icebergs in here. We have it in the sub chart and also in the on chart. Guys, this is starting to pan out here. We've already traded to the 26 and also 27. So yeah, we were kind of looking for that scenario. I was just looking for a quick stop run and then maybe a move back down. It's starting to turn into something more than that. So still looking for buyers to try to take it higher. Maybe up into 30 here. Let's just get realistic here though, like put some structure on it. We want to understand like where it might be overvalued and undervalued within a structure. That's what the auction can tell us here, or the actions here, and that's what when you see trend lines or price channels or horizontal areas here, that's exactly what it is. It's a value area. This one is just tilted to the side. That's all, and it continues to explore higher values here. All right, so retesting back down to where, if there are trend line traders in here and they think this is a good price, then they'll be buying it here. Hey, I don't see any buyers right now. There's lack of selling there. That's good. All right, so do we get buyers here? If so, we should come right back up to about 26. And that's already unfolding. And then we got it. This is kind of the critical area. This kind of value or node area in here, these transactions in here. If we get buyers above it, we're looking for not only 28, we're looking for 29 and maybe 30. So there they go. Let's see it, buyers. They're pulling up here. They're on the bid here. This is looking much better than yesterday, right? This is kind of what we're looking for. This is playing nicely. Yesterday, boy, we just didn't get that, right? We got one piece, but not the other. When we get the combination in here, it's just more likely that we're going to get the move here, the order flow. Okay, so it's not the strongest either. They were pulling here, they were adding here, and we did find our buyers, but it's still not the strongest. Look at the bid. It's kind of weak, but they are here. All right, they did pull here as well, and we did find buyers. Okay, so we traded up to almost 29. Still looking for it. Okay, so we're still in a trend. Okay, and we need to kind of adjust it a little bit. It's actually starting to wane a little bit, as you can see. So, you know, we might get another reversal here, but let's keep an eye out here. Looking for buyers again, and not seeing them, not seeing anything in the bid here either. Yeah, stop run. Okay, so sorry about that. I got distracted. What does it mean? Well, we're looking at orders that are stops. This is factual. We know that. When you see this kind of spike here, or you see the red dots in here, these are stops. Okay, now it's just fact that these are, it's a stop order. We don't know if it's a stop to enter or a stop loss exiting. Typically, it's a stop loss exiting because people are long and now they're sellers into these areas here. All right, so that's what it is. And a stop run would be many stops triggered. So let me show you what a stop run looks like. Maybe we can use this 42 or 51 in here. We might get one right now, but I'll show you a better one. Yeah, over here would be a good one. There we go. We're going to get one now. Okay. Yeah, small one. Not a real good example. I'll find that good example for you guys. So hold on. Boy, not the greatest example either. It's only a couple of ticks. We're looking for a big stop run. We might have to go look at the Nasdaq quickly here to get a. I'm looking. I really want to get a nice one for you guys, and it's just so much clearer. We can show it. I haven't looked at the Nasdaq in quite a while. Makes sense though. We have Nvidia, we have Amazon going down. Apple was up though, so we should see some sell-offs here. Okay, this should be a good one. Okay, this is a little bit better. All right, so what happened here? There was a move, right? There was a transaction here, okay, a sell. Now, this is a market sell. And we just know this, but that the indicator or the MBO data is telling us that we know that this is the orders transacting here are stops. All right, so it started here. This red line on our indicator is showing that these are all stops. Okay, they are triggering. The stop run is when it's nothing but selling and it goes to the next level and then the next level and then the next level, etc. Right, so that's a stop run. So it's and you can see here the volume here is nothing but sell volume here, right? So it's when you get multiple like this, it's a stop run. Now, what can happen? I mean, we'll continue to look at other examples, but this is really gets into the mechanics of how these markets work. It's really good education to cover these at these very low time frames, just so you guys understand like these market mechanics, like what makes this market move like this. In this case here, there was an order here that triggered some stops on the next level, and then the stops in here that were triggered triggered other stops, etc. 40 altogether traded here. Okay, so all of these add up into 40. If you look at these and these over here and add it all up, that would be 40 as well. And then this is a singular event because the best bid and offer updated after that event. So this happened very, very quickly. We can look at it here. It was in 2 microseconds, this very, very quick move here. All right, so this is rather amazing transparency. And we have the information right there in front of us, and it's very, very accurate. Okay, so that's explanation there of a stop, run, and stops. Okay, where did we leave off? All right, so we left off looking at this trend. It broke. Boy, yeah, I hate to miss some of these things in here. Because that's what we're here for in these webinars, is the live analysis. That's what we want to cover. All right. Okay, thanks. D&T matter, don't matter. Biden is signing some the CHIPS bill now soon. Okay, yeah, I mean, we're not really seeing like this was not bad in here. Like, it wasn't the best, but we're looking for this to kind of pop here. We had those elements that we talked about, like the bid was starting to show, the volume is starting to show, and they're pulling. Okay, it was short-lived. It only popped here a couple of points, and then sold off. Okay, so we'll look for it again in here. Retest it all the way back up to this cluster 26. Let's zoom out and just kind of look at this bigger picture here. Really still not seeing much. I mean, even though we see this move in here, the sellers are still in control. Okay, quite a bit of buying. Also, again, some nice buying in here. Some pretty strong selling here, though. So it's really back and forth still. Okay, some strong buying at the moment, just coming in, looking for maybe back up to the top of these ranges in here. Again, like we can see the order book is really dark in here. So this is how we get that back and forth. You'll see, like, I mean, the buyers are continuing here. But we can see sellers come in immediately and fill these areas in. All right. So, any other questions in here? Let's see, Phil. Sorry, silly question. Do you know what sellers? Well, okay, so let's cover this. Why are buyers and sellers, like, who's in control, or And right now, we're in this time frame in here. We don't really know. It's mixed, right? This is where sellers move the market over here. Okay, they moved it away from this area here. This is a value area, okay, where price is kind of determined, or the participants in this time frame, in this area in here, this is too high a price, this is too low a price. it bashes around in here back and forth. Here, sellers moved it away from that area. They are in control of the market now. They have moved it to a lower area. It has accepted lower. Okay, here's a retest back by the buyers to test this area here and see, are there buyers interested in trading it maybe back into this range here. Okay, so we can go through an exercise. I mean, so where would you draw your rectangle in here? You know, we would start and go down to about here, right? Yeah, okay, we went down lower and we went down lower, but let's just start with this right here. Okay, so this is where the sellers drove it away. This is where we noted they traded into high liquidity down here. Okay, we got one more push a little bit lower. We were looking for that 18, and then the buyers came in and we got the move higher. And we were talking about that into 26, and then looking for this trend to, start to develop here, and then it started to wane a little bit, and then the sellers came in and broke it. Yeah, so see this area here. The sellers have moved it below this area, below 28, and they remain in control right now, right? So let's go through some scenarios in here in the order flow. Right, we're looking for, if we get enough buyers up here at 28, they will likely try to take control and move it back to, first off, a high volume node here, or the value area in here where there's a lot of other transactions. Okay, that's all that a value area, or like a POC, point of control, means, that where it can trade back into and have others transact in this area here, because there was a lot of previous transactions. Okay, so here we go. Right now, is this going to be a false breakout, or is it going to continue here? I like it. I'm looking for 30, 31, and maybe we can get up. Well, 32.5 is kind of that high volume node. Okay, so yeah, we have the bid, we have volume. It's trading into these areas here. So let's see if we can continue on up. It's already traded 30. The bid is still here. Now, what's the reaction to this? Not much. In fact, sellers are kind of attracted to it. See, they bid up a little bit more. Let's see. All right, we should be able to get to 31. Looking for it. Okay, see them bid up here again, and let's see the reaction. It's kind of muted right now, but we're still getting there. There you go. All right, let's see if we can kind of scoot up to 34 now, or our 32.5 is the high volume node, right? Our previous value area. Now, who's in control here? All right, on this time frame here, what's on the chart here? Who's in control? This is a really, really simple a thing to determine, and we should probably do it every day on the higher time frame, lower time frames, etc. I kind of mix it up and go. We want to go through like many different ways of looking at the market. But this is such a simple thing. Right, so buyers are in control right now. Okay, in this time frame from about 10:33 or 10:34 onward. Okay, right here, and look where the buyers are on the bid. They're down here at 28, where we broke out from. All right, now we're just kind of going back and forth right now. Okay, but price is accepting back up above this 28 level. So are these guys still in control? No, they're not. All right, buyers are taking control of this market right here at 28. Okay, on this time frame. All right, so we can zoom out, look at higher time frames. Okay, bigger picture, sellers took control here and moved it away from this area. All right. right, so let's take a look at our candlestick charts. Okay, we covered this last week. Sellers took control on the daily chart here. This was that really steep drop, multiple days to the downside in here. And then some back and forth. Sellers firmly in control on this chart. And then on the smaller time frame, though, this is where buyers broke that area here. Okay, they broke above it, just like we're watching right now. This is very similar, very, very similar to this here. Okay, sellers, buyers trying to take control back up into this area here. Okay, no different than this area right in here. This is what we're looking at right now, and that's what this looks like here. So understanding the kind of order flow in here and who's in control, and it works on all time frames, and this is very, very helpful, right? Because look at this, we accepted above all of this range in here, come back, retest it here, we found more buyers. Okay, it broke out, retested where it came from, more buyers, back on up. Next area would be, I would be looking for this area here first. It blazed right through it. The next area would be up in, some of these wicks up in here, and this is, we drew this line on last Monday. We're looking for a test into it. We wanted to see, we know that there's sellers up in here, right? So, and we found them yesterday. We found them. You can see the kind of back and forth in here, and then I thought we were going to break out again because it was a pretty strong day, or we saw the strong candle, and then it failed. It failed hard here. So look at this, the strong move here on the 15-minute. We have the gap, and I thought they were going to try to pull away from here, and sellers came in and said nope. So we got a wick up here. We know there's sellers up here. Where are the buyers? Down here. Okay, this 4105 area. Okay, so buyers are still in control in this move here. They've tested these sellers up here. So now it gets a little trickier on the daily, because who's in control in this little area in here? It's not really too clear. We would still say buyers are, but we're right back in the middle here. We still made higher highs and higher lows in here. It's not much to look at though. Okay, so the hourly chart, we see the selling starting to come in. 15-minute chart, the selling starting to come in the last couple of days. Okay, to retest down to these areas here. Okay, so this is very consistent on all of these charts here, the kind of 4105 area. Any questions on that? We're the education and Bookmap, in that educational course that we have, we really start from very low time frame, and my kind of microstructural areas, and understand this concept of who's moving the market and the players in here in the order flow. And then we take this here, we extrapolate that to a much higher time frame. It's the same idea. The markets, they're the same. Okay, what's the reaction to these orders? Sellers, great. Okay, 27 here, push through. No, we found some buyers. Okay, here is sellers trying again. We should trade 27. There we go. Now let's see if they can bring it back down to 25, 24. We're seeing more sellers in here. Okay, this is the aggressor. They can move the market. Okay, these are limit buys here. They can stop the market from moving. They cannot move the market though, technically. Okay, however, they can influence the market heavily. Yeah, maybe we go through this exercise in here in microstructure. Okay, trading into it. Look at that on the bid. Let's see if they can get back up to 29.5 here. And they pulled. And we're right back into it. Okay, no sellers here. If we get some sellers here, be looking for 20, 25, this liquidity here to test. Okay, looking for the sellers to try to drive it down here to the bottom. And not getting them. Okay, let's see if we get sellers below these buyers here, looking for them. This is really back and forth, but I'm looking for back and forth activity in here. Okay, we didn't get the sellers here. Okay, still looking for that though. Let's just mark it up quickly. It's right here. Okay, so if we get our sellers below that, there's a lack of buying. Should get sellers. Looking for, again, sellers here, and then the drop down to the bottom of the range. There we go. Now, if they get some sellers here, we should be able to test down to 26. And we're getting them. It's starting to auction here. Okay, looking for it, looking for 26. And just looking for 26 on this very small time frame here. Can't get there. This is just so range bound. Let's see here. Okay, cluster of buying. Okay, so let's look again. Now, did they break the top here? Not really. Again, still looking for where these guys might be trapped, and where sellers to drive it the other way would be below here. Okay, let's see if we get our sellers below here, because we're looking for range bound activity, and we're not getting it. They're on the bid instead. And are we getting buyers though? No, not really, not too many. They did pull here at 30 though, so there we go. Okay, again, looking for maybe a potential trap here. Sellers below it. Here we go. Okay, sellers should be able to move it back down to the bottom of this range, or this liquidity here at 28. There we go. Okay, and this should be a stop run too. We should see it, we should see this line here pop. It actually popped to the upside in here. This is our 37 contracts in here. Okay, we got down to 28. Trapped, what do I mean by trapped? Well, anyone that bought in here, they're going to be sellers down here. This is one of the ways that can really move the market. You kind of, it sounds maybe kind of wicked or counterintuitive, but those that are entering the market and they have to exit the market quickly, that really drives the market. It's a powerful driver of the market. Okay, people are compelled to sell or buy. They're trapped, right? So they'll make hasty decisions. That's how you get stop runs too. Okay, bottom of the range. Did we get some sellers here? Yeah, we get some. It's still looking for it to go a bit lower then. It's still auctioning here. We're looking at the condition of these sellers in here, and they're still selling. So let's try to get down to this 25, 24 and 3/4. Zoom out. Okay, bottom of this range. Great. There we go. There's our move. Okay. Now let's see if we get buyers to try to move it back up into where it just dropped from. Maybe here. Already doing it. It's already there. Do you guys find this helpful, especially Discord guys? You do? I'm so bad. Okay. Yeah, let me know. I mean, your feedback in here. We're looking at, we're kind of just, giving insight to the order flow here, or gaining insight from the order flow here, and then making calls on what we think might unfold, but very, very quickly here. Right, this is nothing. What's good about, I think, this on these very low time frames is that it demonstrates how to read in real time. How one of the that's one of the benefits of these webinars here. It's not that we're advocating that a Bookmap's a scalping tool. Yeah, sure, it works great for scalping. It visualizes all of this on very low time frames extremely well. Yet you can zoom out. You can look at this on much, much higher time frames. Okay, let's get rid of the drawings here. Same ideas that we were just covering. Okay, here, this is that move away, the retest back into some of these areas in here. Funny enough, we didn't get a retest, a deeper retest back to here. This is why the sellers are in control. This is that move away to explore lower liquidity here. Right, so, and that's what we see for today, and sellers still remain in control for the day here. And then that we're watching this area here, and the buyers trying to take control. Well, they did, and then they're totally tested in here. Right, in fact, it went back down kind of below that area. It went down again right now below it, but look at, buyers are right back now. All right, so on this time frame here, and I see some nice buying, I see the bid here on this time frame, I'd be looking for it to trade back to the top of this range here. Okay, and then maybe we can get to this liquidity up here at 34. Okay, buyers are still, they're still hanging in there. They're still moving this market higher here. Okay, so yes, on this time frame here, looking at from 9:30 onward, looking for a test back up to top of the range, and then maybe 34 here. Okay, and if we get more up there, then we're looking for that 40 level, and 40 level up here makes good sense. It's here, okay, this range, and also here, okay, 43, somewhere in there. Right, this concept here, what we're doing is no different than what we're doing on these low time frames in here. Okay, yeah, here's our move. Okay, now we had the higher time frame help us out on that one. Okay, nice stop run as well. Icebergs on the other side of it, almost equal here, icebergs versus stops. All right, well, now let's see if we do we get sellers back down below here? Nope. In fact, we get buyers. Okay, so I got quite some nice feedback from you guys on this one. So you guys want to see maybe more of this? Is that right? On these lower time frames like this? I really want to move away though into and look at the higher time frames, because when you start to look at the higher time frames, sometimes it's much easier, and we want to look for opportunities on all time frames basically. But I do agree that you can learn so much from looking at these on smaller time frames. and understand these markets in a much more kind of intimate way here. Jonathan, every time I open my mouth is helpful. Wow, that's quite a compliment. Thank you. Let's see here. Um, no, no, let's see, giddity giddity. The reason we're looking at the S&P here is because most people want to look at it. I kind of like the NQ. But it's the S&P has been moving really nicely for several months now. So we've been covering the S&P. Before that, it was dismal. So we were watching the NQ, right? The YM I really don't look at very much. Sometimes we look at the Russell. There's a ton of liquidity in the ES. It's an amazing market. Uh, that helps, but we don't have to. You can see it on crude oil. You can you can see, look, high liquidity down here, filled, the move back up. Where did the move back up come to? Where this range dropped and sellers took control. Okay, sellers are still in control though in crude here. It didn't pop up above it. In fact, they're kind of in control here where they really started to move it. But we also look at these ranges. Okay, so we just kind of came up here and tested that. We're looking for that same thing in the S&P, is to retest back up into that 40 level here. Okay, so what we marked, well, I marked up and now I deleted it. Yeah, here 40 would be, no, I didn't delete it. It's up here, right? So anyway, that's again, you can see these patterns. They're all fractal on different time frames, smaller time frames, higher time frames. So this move to the upside here, buyers trying to do it, trying to take control. All they did was get back up to the top of the range and break it a bit, and sellers come right back in. Okay, we're back in the middle here. All right, so what kind of insights do we get right now? High liquidity on the bid down here. Yeah, let's see if we can get some sellers to try to trade into it. And we don't. In fact, we have a double bottom pattern here. It might fail. Look at the offer. What's the reaction? Buyers are kind of interested in it. Okay, that's interesting. And they're pulling too. All right, now here we go. We got some buyers trapped here. Sellers should come in, should hit 26 and or 25 and 3/4 here. Want to see the test down to there. Buyers still struggling. Let's see sellers here. If we get our sellers here, it should be a quick move down to 25 and 3/4. And nothing's quick here today. There they go. We even had a pullback here. This is why I like the Nasdaq. You wouldn't get this little retracement like that. Nasdaq would probably just go whip right down to it, and then it would come back. All right. So let me get to some other questions in here. No, you can't look at the Thinkorswim version does not offer the stops and icebergs. Okay, they don't have rhythmic data, so it's kind of an issue. So So giddity, you want to see like a kind of side by side comparison? Sure, we can do that. Let's pop this out. And we'll use this tool here to look at the same amount of data within it. 15 minutes and 15 minutes in the chart range. All right, so we just traded down to here. Oh, this is crude, sorry. 15 minutes here in the S&P. Yeah, you can see, you know, they correlate, but they're very different. They're different markets. So I don't know if that helps you much. But in general here, we're going to pop this back into the tabbed version here by closing the window here. Okay, and then we'll go full screen here. Okay, it pops it in. It's at the end of the list here. Now we'll just move it over, drag and drop it over here. I don't know if that helps you, but you can see the, the different different liquidity in here. Look at, there's 15, 10, 22 here in the Nasdaq on the offer and on the bid. And if we look at the S&P, we have 100, 162, 75. So it's a lot different. That's gonna the orders in here make a difference, and the different markets, different participants. Okay, so anyway, when we didn't go through, when we're looking at these lower time frames in here, we didn't go through any strategies at all. We're just kind of reading the order flow, and the only strategy we're kind of looking at was a range, basically. Is it accepting kind of inside or outside of that range, etc. It's not really a strategy, but we're just understanding kind of value areas, basically. So I mean, look how we trade back down in here, and it's the bottom of this range in here. So we found some buyers who are kind of interested, right, on this low time frame. Okay, now let's see if we get sellers up here. See how the buyers trade into this, and they made it through. Okay, but this is kind of the critical area here. So, and we're still having buyers above it. So let's see if they can try to get back up here to 25. All right, so what we're looking for then in terms of selling traps, or our buying traps, it's already doing it. Basically the trap is kind of in here, 23.5. We got our sellers here. We should see the stop run to the downside. Okay. Yeah, nice move. Let's wrap a strategy around this. Okay, so this would be basically a trend trading strategy. This is a pullback in here, and we're looking for sellers to come back down into here. If we get them, then we're looking for the follow through to the downside. All right, now it's up to you. Sometimes, depending on the range, this is a very small range in here, but if you don't see the buying up in here and you start to see sellers here, you can trade it back down to here, maybe cover some, but look for the follow through, and then maybe add more in too. I mean, this is where it gets into trade management, and you'd still be in it. You'd maybe take some off, maybe down here you'd match up your trend line here, or your range, your tilted kind of range here, with this 22 area here, and consider maybe taking some off. It has turned into a nice move down to 20. Let's zoom out. Okay, we're getting to low of the day again here. We started this webinar off here around this, noticing this 20 level. And there we go, down to low of the day here, 18, 17 and a half. Strong selling here. All right, so sellers still in control, and they just moved it away from a big zone, a big area. Now, how many points was it? It's about 3, maybe almost 4 points now. This is significant. Right now, one thing, there's a caveat on this, that 3 or 4 points, even 5 points, for a fresh low of the day, we could see a pullback here to 20. Okay, now if it's within the range, typically, yeah, it's going to go, and they're moving it away. Even here, they're moving it away. It's already gone 4 or 5 points. Okay, so this is where the sellers took control. Okay, first, when we look for retests, like a low volume pullback, we'd look at some of these clusters in here and these transactions here. Also ranges, a small little range here. We already retested it here. It didn't go to 18, and now we just made a lower low. So sellers still in control. Okay, and they're in control on the higher time frame too. Right, from up here. Okay, so we're starting to get a move now. Okay, and let's take a look at this here. What we want to also look at here is the range. So all of this back and forth in here during this webinar, this is kind of a tough time to trade, I think. We have a pretty big range here, and now we're looking to see if the sellers can move it away. They have on volume as well, and the points move has been good. Okay, so getting some pullbacks in here would be normal or natural, but we're looking for sellers to just stay in control. That is the primary scenario here. Okay, secondary scenario would be buyers back up here. Okay, and then if we do, then we should see the stop run to the upside here, because there's going to be a lot of traders in here that have got it wrong. Okay, but we stick with the trend until we see something different. Okay, so still remaining sell side here. And we should get this nice little move here. Should be a stop run. There's 15. And it should be a real nice stop run now. We got one. It was like 139. But yeah, it's not bad. Okay, Camarilla, you want to look at gold? I have it. It's on the Z contract, which is kind of odd, but we don't really have a time frame here. I just have data that goes back to 6 a.m. So about 5 hours here. No, I have no TTW add-ons. This is from an educator partner of ours, from Walter. I'm not really seeing much in here. This is going to be, should be a nice, yeah, it is. It's a nice stop run here. This is pretty indicative. And into and through that high liquidity up into this area here. But sellers bring it right back down, right? So this is kind of a false, it's not a false breakout really. It did accept for a while, and then it broke back down into the range here again. So this is the stops and icebergs indicator. Okay, I also have the hero indicator here by another educator partner, and I have CVD. I'm taking them off though for right now. Sure, you're welcome. Steve Morrow just mentioned me in the DMR last week. Okay, Michael. That's yeah. I know Steve, and I haven't heard from him in quite a while. Also, I know that Tino, an educator partner, he also was educated by Steve. He goes through the crypto markets. So I know a lot of you crypto guys follow Tino. Okay, Phil, you'd like to see maybe a stream on just stocks in comparison to S&P? Yeah, sure. I mean, I'll I really like the correlations, as you guys know. That's what I think probably one of the best indicators in the market is by looking at correlations, comparing value of one to another. No, we're not, Hussam. We're not planning on entering or adding options in here because we've seen how thin they are. So doesn't really make much sense. It's better just to look at the underlying. Okay. All right, so we got our pullback here. Look where the pullback came to. Okay, right here. And a little bit of a stop run above it here. Right, so this is just, we're talking right now. We're talking about the market structure. Okay, there's the other structure broke up here too. Again, fractal markets, but here it was kind of accepting in a range up here for a while, and then it broke and it came down to the bottom here, and then it traded through it. Now we got to retest back to it. Okay, so let's take a watch. Take a look here. Let's watch, and maybe we can get back up into where the sellers broke it here. DXFeed futures you already have access to. You can get DXFeed futures from our website. You can get Rhythmic from the marketplace, Bookmap marketplace. Okay, you don't have to have it from your broker. There are brokers that offer Rhythmic, so if you want to trade in using Rhythmic, I'd reach out to one of the brokers and ask for Rhythmic. No, the stops and icebergs are sold separately as a bundle. They work with Global and Global Plus. That does not matter. Yeah, we have crypto. In fact, I have BTCUSD from Binance Futures here, USDT. And the reason I like the Binance Futures in here because we have this indicator showing liquidations, which is pretty amazing transparency. So we know this from the exchange, from Binance Futures, that people are getting liquidated. That's pretty amazing to see that. These were buyers that are now sellers here, and they didn't have a choice. They were forced by the exchange to cover. And then on the here they are on the upside too. So not too many on the upside. It was mostly in this area here. Yeah. So as you guys can see, this is the liquidations. It made this move here, and it also made this move here. So in essence, this is like a stop run too. It's even worse. It's much worse. People were, their arm was twisted and they were forced to exit the market with margin call. All right, and then you'll start to understand like why the move may come right back up here. If these are all liquidations here and here, market can float right back up into these areas here. Okay, on very little volume. Okay, here we go. We left off on this scenario here. We traded to 20, and then we talked about 25 here. So it looks like it wants to test it here. So looking for that move into 25 here. They're on the bid. We're finding buyers. The liquidity's up here at 25. And we do have market structure that we're kind of testing right now, right? But I'm still looking for those buyers. The bid is strong, and we're getting buyers here. So still looking for it to kind of pop up into 25 here in this scenario. Yeah, it's a pretty boring day. Nice move, guys. This was the scenario we were just outlining. And so in here, like we saw the bid, okay, kind of strong. They're bidding up in these areas. We're finding buyers. So in this case here, this scenario worked out. But here's it might not have, but this is what we were covering. At this point here, even though we have structure here, we're still looking for the pop in the stop run here. Okay, into 25, it's actually come up quite a bit more. In fact, we get a flip of the order book here. I'll talk about that in a minute. So we didn't, this because of the structure here is like, likely they'll go for the 25 first. And so that played out. Sometimes we get it wrong, and like this does have some significance, and you'll see sellers try to drive it right back down. In this case, I thought they'd go for 25. They did. And then look at the flip of the order book. So this is high liquidity on the offer, traded. Now they're on the bid. Okay, so this is like understanding the same ideas here of a range and a zone and a new one. Okay, because they flipped. All right, so and look how this is how nicely this matches here with what we drew up earlier here. Okay, this area in here, the drop, the retest to it, and then through it back up into this previous area here. All right, it's getting kind of messy there, so I'm gonna clear the drawings. Bid is strong. Look at this strong bid here. Okay, so looking for 30. We're finding buyers. Strong bid, looking for 30. Looking for 34. This might be the move we're looking for back to higher time frame. We could get the move back to 40 here, maybe even a little higher, 43 or 45 or so here, 43 I guess. Makes sense. Okay, we'll look for that scenario, but let's also put some structure in here. Hold on. So you can see it kind of broke that one, but here it's just trading into it now. Okay, so we have a bigger structure in here as well. So what do traders think about this? What's the order? What are the orders telling us here? Yeah, I'm still kind of looking for 30 to test. This bid is strong. 24, 25, 26. Finding buyers, starting to wane a little bit here. But so yeah, still looking for 30. One of the things that's so nice about Bookmap is when we were looking for that move into 25 here, is just seeing how visual this is. Like, you know, these concepts of, you know, supply turning into demand here. Here it is right in front of us. There's 30, guys. They're flipping as well. There's the flip as well here in 30. On the offer, now on the bid. It transacted here. And now they're flipped again. Okay, so 34 is our next area. We talked about 34. Okay, and here's our answer. Now, you know, what do traders think about this here? Well, they're getting run over. Anyone that's kind of looking at this zone in here, they're getting kind of run over. Flipping Camarilla, I don't know. I mean, there's a video I can show you as well, but they were on the offer, now they're on the bid. They were on the offer, now they're on the bid. Okay, so what was kind of supply and resistance, not only did it transact, now it's up here, and they flipped here. They went from offer to bid, and we found buyers, so we're looking for 30. Now they did it again. So these turns, this is how you can see these turn into zones, and who's in control, right? It gets back to that same concept. Who's in control? Well, buyers are here, okay? And buyers are clearly here as well. Okay, the buying actually started down here or even here. Okay, here is basically where it kind of started. Okay, and then it broke this one. Traded kind of quickly here. And it's still trading pretty quickly here. It's not, we're not getting deep pullbacks. So this is pretty strong move here. And now we're starting to get a deeper pullback here, back to where it originated, this move. This one did not. It didn't even come close to it here at 25. So this is, you know, this is strong buying. Okay, secondary scenario here to watch and look out for is, I mean, we're going buy side until we see something different. We still remain bullish. They're still in control here. So, you know, we're still buyers here, and we're still with a long bias, or, you know, the value area is up here now, and we look for support here. If there's liquidity down here, it didn't even trade yet. So we look for, you know, a lack of selling in here and more buyers to try to trade back up to the top of the range. Only 20 likes and 140 people watching. Come on, people. Yeah, that'd be great. But give me a thumbs up in here, and that's much appreciated. How do we know if there are more buyers and sellers in that liquidation area? Well, the liquidity here and the heat map is showing what the number is here, basically. And you can, the heat map is going to tell you that there are more buyers here than maybe sellers over here. You can also use this rollover tool here. You can hover right over this. So here on the ask, about 257 contracts. Down here, well, we know what it is, 250, right? So it's roughly the same, right? And the heat map color is the same. Scale is up here, red and orange, very high liquidity. Okay, now here we go, right? Now we didn't get back up here, and now it looks like the sellers want to transact here. They may try to take control and move it away from all of this here, but we don't see it yet. We still remain buy side. Okay, do we get enough? Do we get enough buyers in here? Okay, so it's bouncing off of that right now. Let's take a look and see if it maybe trades into it here. Let's go, everybody. Click on the button. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, like guys, like I'm really excited here. We've got Tom B. He'll be starting in about 7 minutes or so. We've got Jay Trader. We've got Scott Pulcini. We have Rain with Crypto Trader, crypto markets. We have Pro Trader webinars with a lot of different traders. And we want to bring on more. Yeah, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and we can offer more for you guys. We need to kind of justify it with some of the performance in here. So you guys help us out a little bit and give us some feedback here, and then we can offer you guys more. Let's see here. Ron, you feel scammed by us, pay $50 for a subscription to find out afterwards that you need another 100 for data. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Like it's kind of an issue. We try to tell you many times along the path that Bookmap is a platform, not a data provider. And that you will need to provide the data. Okay, we're not a big brokerage like TradeStation or NinjaTrader. They were actually just platforms to begin with as well, and then they turned into a brokerage. Then they can provide the data as well, right? So if you want a refund, just reach out to support@bookmap.com. They will refund you on that. If you want to try it, there's cheap ways. If you're a stocks trader or crypto trader, crypto is free. The data is all free there. Okay, and actually we do help provide some of the data for that. Yeah, I'll bring it up, Ren, again. That I hate hearing this. So I'll bring it up with the team again. That look, we're a platform, and it needs to be maybe highlighted again. And the data is so expensive too. It's unfortunate, but that's the business. There is one way that probably the cheapest way, Ren, is to you can get either DX feed or Rhythmic for just one market and just get it for the CME. That would allow you to see the NQ, the ES, the currency futures like the 6E euro dollar. You would also be able to look at the Russell, and that would be $37, right? And if you're not a futures trader, you can, guys, this is kind of interesting. I'll go over this in just a second here. Nice bounce out of it. This is a false breakdown. Okay, they traded into this, but look at the buyers squeeze them now. We should get a nice stop run here above this, and looking for the buyers to continue. Right, this is why we stay long, or not until we see them break it and pull away from an area. This is really very. It's not an easy read, but it's a great example of a false breakdown. Okay, and this is where you can see these sellers here. They got it wrong. They're going to be flipped out. Or they're going to flip out up here, and you're going to see the stop run here, and that's likely these guys, or even some of these guys in here. They're buyers now. Okay, so and then you can also, from that, you can kind of glean that if this is a big stop run, then this is not really new buying coming in. It's just it's sellers that are exiting. Anyway, let me get to Ren. I mean, it's just a good point, Ren. I don't want to harp on it too much, but anyway, it's a cheap way to get in. Maybe you trade stocks. So what I'm outlining, though, is a cheap way to trade the stock indexes for futures, and you can trade now. What's nice is the CME now offers these micro contracts, so you don't have to have a lot of money to trade. With very little money, like $1,000 or so, you can trade and be leveraged. Maybe be careful with the leverage, even with $1,000. You'd be surprised. Like micros can do some damage as well. But anyway, I think it's an amazing access. So for very little. So basically you would be $50 plus, so it would be like $87 and you'd be up and running. Anyway, if you're unhappy about that, just reach out to support and we can refund you on that. Another cheap way is Thinkorswim. That would be the cheapest. Okay, so consider that. You'd have to do have an account there or brokerage services through Thinkorswim, and then I think Bookmap is like $30. That would be the cheapest, and the data is included because it's Thinkorswim, and you'll be able to look at stocks and futures too. Yeah, just it's a pity that the data is so expensive. It's just that's how the business is. Thanks for the likes. That's great. You guys bumped it up there. Okay, so you're also getting Ren some feedback in here. Jeff, nice comment there. Yeah, I mean this is the business. If you want to be a trader, you gotta pay for it. There are costs involved. Thanks, Jeff. Really nice comments about Bookmap. Yeah, and it pays for itself, gives you the edge, etc. And you get this education too. All right, so it's got a good discussion going on in here on the costs. That's great, Jeff. Yeah, you've been a long-time user. Excellent. Okay, caught up on the questions there. Yeah, I mean, so Manny, for crypto, whatever you're looking at, whatever exchange here, I can show you, you know, you can connect to all these exchanges. In fact, let's go to bookmap.com. Um, and if you go to connectivity here down the list, look at crypto, we connect to all of these exchanges here. So whatever they offer, you can get within Bookmap. Okay. CME is just one market, but they offer multiple instruments in there. Um, you can also get, you know, your broker. If you ask for Rhythmic, they will cover some of the costs in there. You might pay 50 or 60 bucks a month for instead of 99. Okay, so we kind of left off on this scenario here, and let me see, guys, in Discord here. Oh, lots of stuff, lots of good stuff going on. All right, thanks, Doug. Looking at some options in there. Awesome. That's excellent, Doug. So if you guys want to check it out, you know, go to our advanced webinar Discord area and Discord channel and Bookmap, and you'll see Doug's image. Oh, good. Okay, so Bert, yeah, looking at the daily chart starts to help. It's the same process, really is. You know that you know, we could look at this pattern here on a much higher time frame. Same ideas. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get across is about market structure, and that how, you know, even this market structure in here is really no different than we look at much higher time frames. Good morning, Carol. Yeah, we have a correlation tracker, so it is here, and you can add multiple instruments to it. You know, let's just take a look at the Nasdaq in here, or let's look at maybe Apple, and it'll be this kind of purple line here, and it's adding it right now. So that's one way to look at it, or just multiple monitors, or, you know, divvy up your screen real estate here. So anyway, we kind of left off on this, and I answered a lot of questions. False breakdown, stop run, and then, you know, talking about the orders in here as well. They're not really, there's a lot of stops in there. It's not new buying trying to move the market. So that's the condition of these orders here. You know, many of them, not all of them at all, but many of them. So then if that's the case, then, well, we can trade back to these areas down here, and we just did. Now now it's getting interesting though. There's our correlation tracker, the purple line. Yeah, just this is one thing you can do, is add them on here. And again, like I said, you can pop these out by double clicking on them, or drag and drop them, and then look at it on another monitor. You can even use this tool here. I don't know if you guys are aware of this tool. We haven't covered it in quite a while. Let me show it to you. This one here, to synchronize the charts. So if I click on that, this is the master chart now. If I zoom out, you can see I zoom out also on Apple. Okay, if I zoom in, like I zoom in on Apple as well. Okay, once I zoom in and over here, I break that correlation though, or that synchronization. Right. So anyway, maybe you want to play around with that tool as well, so you can look at apples to apples. Now, if you want to use candlesticks for order flow, well, we actually covered that in the video. Look on our YouTube channel, Mr. Trader, and you'll see that I think it covers it in there. We can look at candles here as well. We covered this yesterday. We can add candles on here, but this is where you're just look at the candle here. Great. Okay, well, it rejected up here, traded back down below, and closed down below the range. Great. Okay. However, where's the volume trading on the candle? You don't see it. You're going to get a volume bar down here, but the bar is going to be aggregated within this period as well. Here's the clarity. Look at the cluster of, and the majority of the trading is down here, right? This is where we're looking for continuation. Okay, look at them come back now, looking for the test to the top of this range here. We're getting lots of volume here. Let's see if they can boost it up into 29.5, maybe even back up into here where these wicks were, right? Where there was selling pressure up here, but the selling was really here, right? So this candle is giving us very little data, very little information. Whereas the cluster of the volume here is telling us precisely where the volume is transacting. Okay, we also get the other side of the trade. Where are they bidding? Where they're offering? What is the auction? What is the condition of that auction? Okay, the candles just don't show that. Okay, so yeah, you know, if you look at that, if we take the volume dots off and we take best bid and offer off, and the heat map off, right? Maybe you have volume bars, but you know, it's going to be kind of after the fact, right? And we really want to understand the order flow within it here, and we just get no transparency here. In fact, you're only getting 4 data points: open, high, low, and close of this period, which is a 1 minute bar. Right now, you can read, you know, these wicks. Okay, buyers, the sellers here, maybe some strength in here, but this is kind of meaningless, and it's also just pure speculation. If we know that there's buyers up in here, up in this area here, now we're looking for the breakout, just like we were just covering. Okay, because now we know. Then we go through this scenario. So anyway, I try to do the same. I'll be honest, I try to do the same on the higher time frame with the candlesticks in here, by understanding ranges and then wicks, basically. Strength of the bar typically means that there is a lot of volume on it, typically, but we just don't know where, etc. It's just a little bit like voodoo in essence. All right. Okay, Phil. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoy the stream, Phil. That's love to hear it. Want to bring you as much value as we can, all of you. So if you have any comments or suggestions, you know, please reach out and let us know. Best place is probably in Discord. But you know, I think I've been kind of veering toward covering more about the candles. We're getting a lot of questions about that, and then also a lot of feedback on this low time frame stuff. You guys really interested in understanding these, you know, how these markets kind of operate in here. and then extrapolate that to the higher time frame, right? I've been doing it for years. I just think that probably is more understandable to cover and start from candles and then move on the way down instead of the opposite. I've been doing the opposite, looking at this and understanding it and then extrapolating this kind of information here to the higher time frame. Okay, so and I think I lose some people along the way. But, yeah, all right, well, again, don't forget about that Compass event at 3 p.m. I think East Coast time today. Yeah, they'll go over order flow in there, and this pretty incredible trader in there. So might want to check that out. And then this will I'm already over my time limit. Tom B, I'm sure, has already started. So this video here, or I'm sorry, this webinar will redirect you to Tom B's webinar. Okay, that's already in session. So he's a volume profile trader. Go check it out, and he'll cover the S&P as well. All right. Yeah, trying to keep it really simple with the analysis in here, and it might be better to stick with something like candles in here. So you know, try to not confuse people. Most people already understand candles and patterns and, you know, head and shoulders and all that kind of stuff. Tom is going to go through volume profile. There's a lot of volume profile traders out there too. So anyway, I think it's really kind of all the same stuff. It really is all about the order flow within these areas. Maybe it's a horizontal accumulation of volume. That's your volume profile, right? So instead of a vertical accumulation in a candlestick, it's really kind of all similar. It's really about the condition of the market participants. That's what we're reading in here, okay, on all time frames. And that's what we want to understand, right? Okay, all right, guys, we'll wrap it up. We'll call it a day. Thanks for coming. Look for some events this week for in the afternoon. So we did that small video on candlestick reading. We'll probably do one on heat map, I think maybe tomorrow. Maybe this afternoon we'll do something. We'll see. And it seemed to go well with you. So we'll try to do many more of those, and you know, have these events in the afternoon. So yeah, thanks everybody. And we'll catch up tomorrow. I'll cover the S&P for a little bit, and then Jay Trader comes in and he'll be trading live with stocks, okay, in demo mode, but he will be trading. All right, thanks for coming everybody. We'll catch up with you tomorrow.